today we're going to look at the MUNBYN IMC01 bank grade money counter. Okay, so first question is, why would you need a money counter? Money counters are great if you work in, say, a convenience store, a gas station, police station, anywhere where you have large amounts of cash that comes in like this, and you need to count it accurately and quickly. And you also need to detect whether it is counterfeit or whether it is real. When you've got a lot of bills, it's very hard to go through with a little marking pen and try to decipher and find out whether it is a real bill or not. This will do it for you very quickly. So we're going to go over some of the pros to this system, what all it actually has. I'm going to go ahead and show you what you get because I've taken it out of the box to save time and I've laid everything out so you'll know what you're going to get in the system. And then I'm going to bring you in a little closer and I'm going to show you how you actually operate the system. It's actually really simple. It's not that difficult, but there are a couple of little key things that you need to know that are going to frustrate you when you first get it. And say you take something like this stack of old bills and throw it in there and it keeps acting up on you. Well, what do you do? And if you don't know how to do that, at first you're going to come out with wrong counts. And it's going to get frustrating and you're going to think the system doesn't work and you're going to try to send the system back when all you have to do is follow my instructions. So let's go ahead and go into a few of the things that make this unique. One of the first things is it's not just a regular CIS counter like you're going to find everywhere else. This one actually does a lot of extra things like recording that serial number. Instead of a regular CIS counter where it has one sensor, which is going to read the very top of a bill, this one has two sensors, so it's going to read the bottom and the top. So it's going to be about 3 times as accurate as a regular machine. But that CIS also works as part of the counterfeit detection method because it's going to record serial numbers. It's going to actually see both sides. It's going to be able to detect if there's a problem much quicker because it has a lot more sensing capability. As far as the counterfeit part of this goes, is it has 11 different ways to check if this is a counterfeit bill. And I'll give you just a few of the basics. The first obviously is going to be the 2 CIS sensors. Then you're going to have UV, MG, IR, and of course the serial number where it actually records that serial number. So if you've got somebody that's come in with a whole stack of fake bills and the serial numbers are the same, it's going to detect that really quickly. But it's got a lot of functions. Those are just a few. You'll probably want to read about a few of the others, and you can turn those on and off on the actual control panel. So the other thing that I do like about this is it's going to come preloaded with several countries as far as which bills it's going to be able to accept. It's going to come preloaded with US, Canada, Europe, Mexico, and I believe there's a few others. But if you say you're in one of 120 other countries that this supports, all you have to do is download the software onto the system and it is going to be able to detect those as well. Now, another cool thing about that is it can be mixed. I can have several notes, say from Mexico, some from Canada, Europe, and US, put it in, and it's going to separate all those into account. That's a pretty cool little function in itself. So let's go ahead and talk about what you get when you buy the unit. So it's going to come in a nice box like this. And all you're going to do is take it out, set it on the counter. It's going to look exactly like this, except the guides will not be installed. All they do is just slide into place, just like that. Very, very simple. The unit itself, you turn it around, and you're going to have a master on and off button here. You have a printer port, which, by the way, they offer a couple of printer options that are made by MUNBYN, and one of them It's just a regular black box, which will do the actual printing on like a thermal paper. And then you have another one that will have a reader like this built into it. So you have a couple of options there. If you look over here, you got some USB ports for memory and things like that. You have a port here, which you have an external reader. And this external reader just clips in just like that. So once it is actually plugged in, it will read just like this, and it will give the customer account so you can face them. Now your USB ports are for things like memory and being able to export things, and they even give you a little flash USB card. I thought that was a kind of a nice little feature. So we're going to turn this back around here. And by the way, if you do have a full jam, you just open the back just like any other printer will, and you can unjam it, and you can rotate the little feet in the front to move it forward. But what I have found is that is very rare that it actually jams that way. If it does not read correctly, you just simply pull the bill out and push the button for reset, and it shoots that bill out that did not make it all the way through for whatever reason. And I will show you how that works on the old stack of money. So we have the counter, we have the power cord right here, which just plugs into regular 110. They're going to give you that memory card I talked about. They give you a little cleaning brush so that if you need to clean stuff off, especially if you are using old bills and stuff, you may have to periodically clean everything, open up that back. So they tell you try not to use damp or really old bills any more than you have to, and clean everything up periodically. It will have a recalibration card, which is going to be this little card that is laminated, and you will set that in the back when you recalibrate. And there are steps in the manual that you are going to get here. They're going to give you this one, which is the maintenance manual, and in that one it'll walk you through this step by step, not hard at all. They give you a little cleaning cloth, and this screwdriver is mine. You don't actually have to use a screwdriver. Quick hint, there's an adjustment screw in the top, and they made it big enough where you can actually use a coin. So go figure, they figure you're dealing with money, you're doing counting, you probably have coins laying around, so they made it very easy. I thought that was a cool little deal too. So the manuals, like I just said, you are going to have the maintenance manual, and then you have the full manual. Now this manual is really nice. It's large print, full color. I like that because a lot of these manuals and all I see are very small print, and there is no color. They're very hard to decipher. They are very clear on their instructions, and they give you a lot of QR codes on the box, on the unit itself, and in the manual. So if you get hung up, you'll be able to actually scan that QR code. Matter of fact, you'll notice even if you have a jam or you have something that's not working right, where it doesn't want to read a bill, it has a QR code that pops up, says scan this QR code and follow the instructions here to recalibrate your system. They make it very easy. They want this system to work for you, and they want you to be happy with it. So they give you lots of instructions. So we have that. We also have another little quick setup guide, which I thought was really cool. And on the back, it has some more QR codes to be able to actually contact them. Like I said, the QR codes are everywhere. They even give you a little card here, which you can take and pin up or even tape behind, something, whatever you need to do, which gives their phone number, their email. Actually, it gives 2 phone numbers. So it has a lot of information. Like I said, they definitely want you to be able to get a hold of them. And you're going to notice that even on this, it has instructions on the side if you're having problems, so it walks you through things. So in a nutshell, guys, that's everything that you get. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to pull you in a little closer, and I'm going to try to show you how this thing functions and give you a couple of hints that'll help you on day one when you set it up. So let's do that. All right, so the very first thing you're going to want to do is you have a power button here, but that's not going to work if you have the master power off. So you're going to reach back and you're going to hit that master power key right there. And it is going to come up and give you tech support numbers and everything like that while it is booting up. And when it boots up all the way, this will go away and the main lights are going to come on. It's calibrating right now. There we go. Now it is actually ready to function. Now, these are not going to be on. You're going to have to put these on. So one of the first things I'm going to tell you is that those need to be set to the actual width of your bills, or the reader does not read correctly. But before we get into putting any bills in, let me give you a quick rundown of the screen or the menu here. The very top one is going to be auto or manual. Auto works great if they are new bills. You can just take and drop it in and it flies. If I have older bills, I think it works a little better on manual. I can put it in, get it adjusted, and then hit my start button and it will fly. Right now we are set to manual. If you push this, you can see it goes right here. This is where it's flashing on and off. Okay, that's auto. Now it's off. We're going to leave it off for our test today. You go here for menu, you hit this one, and what it'll do is this menu changes anything up here, like your serial number on or off. This is going to be your print button. This will be batch. If you're wanting to do separate batches and run them through and count different departments, that's why the batch button is there, and it works very great for that. Then you're going to come down to add. Right here, you can add extra on, or you can take it off. Detail is a really cool one because the detail will give you the full breakdown of the actual bills and the quantities. And if you push that again, it will come back and it will give you the serial numbers. We're going to try that in a minute, so you'll get to see how that works. So we exit back out of that. Speed, you have two choices. You've got 1,000 or 800. We're going to go ahead and leave it on 800 for right now. Over here, you've got your currency button here, and you can pick the different currencies that they already have preloaded in. We're on auto, so it's going to pick up any of these in auto mode, even if they are mixed. So our next key is going to be mode. If you do CNT, the CNT is how many bills are counted. That's what it's going to report on here. If I hit it again, I'm going to go to the SDC, which is going to actually sort all of your bills. So it'll sort them into like 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, etc. And then if we hit it again, that's your MDC, and that's going to count everything. And that's where you're generally going to want this machine set up. So that's pretty much in a nutshell. This is going to be your start or restart. If it jams or does not read a bill, you have to pull the bill out and hit the restart, and I'm going to show you how that works. Let's go ahead real quick and let's do the newer bills. We're going to drop these in. Now I have it on manual, so it's not going to do anything until I get ready and I hit this. There you go. It's telling me that I have $105. There's 10 pieces. Let's go to detail, and it gives me my breakdown. I've got 4 100s at 400. I've got 5 20s at 100, and I've got one $5 bill. So that tells me that. Now I can hit detail, and now it gives me the serial number. So let's take a look here. Let's look for the 5, because it says the denomination 5, and it gives me my serial number, MK281173. It matches perfectly. So it's recording all of those serial numbers, and you notice I had some upside down. I had some turned the other way. It works in any direction, so that's really nice. And and you notice it does the same. I got the exact same number, even with one upside down, so it reads perfectly. So now this is going to be the true test. This is the old bills, and I can guarantee you there's a couple in here that are going to jam this. Did that on purpose so you can see how you fix it. So you're going to you load it in just like that, and now I'm going to hit start. All right, we end up with an error because it did not take. So what you do is you pull these out, you hit restart, you take the one that it pops out and you put it back on top. If you do not do it that way, it will not count that bill and you will be wrong, or your counter will be wrong. Okay, we have the same thing there. Pull the top bill off, hit it, take that bill and put it in. And I can tell you there are 20 bills here, but if you don't do that, it does not work. There we go. We got 20 bills. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to take that bill off the top. So, and I'm going to show you what happens. We put it in. Right there, hit. All right, so now just leave that, just hit it. Just hit it. You notice we jammed a couple of times. We lost those bills because we did not pull it and put it back on top. So my count would actually be wrong. So you have to learn the correct procedure for doing it. If you're having trouble getting this to actually function right, there are a couple of things you do. The very first thing you're going to do, let me pull these off because it's easier for you to actually see what is going on. Actually pull that one. The very first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to take a bill. Let's take the 100 here. And you're going to take it and you're going to test the machine. Now, you might think you put it under these big rollers to see if it's grabbing, but that's not the correct spot. You go over to the side and see if it actually will insert and go underneath the roller that's down here, the white one that's further. If it does not, you are going to turn this, I believe it's counterclockwise, until you back it off and it will go further in. If you need to go the opposite direction, you turn it the other way if it's too loose. And when I say too loose, if I'm able to put two bills in here, then I may want to change that a little. Say I can't quite get them in. This one is wanting to stick out. So I'm good where I'm at. But if both bills slid in easily, you would want to change this the opposite direction a little bit. Now I'm using a screwdriver here, but they figure that you are working with money, so they give you a big screw that will work with a coin. And I like that. So you don't even have to have a tool. You can just use a coin and move it real quickly. So that is going to help you adjust that part and get that set. Now the other thing is make sure that these are set correctly. There we go. That you don't have them too wide. So when you're putting, especially on the auto, let me show you how this works on auto. So let's go here. And we are now set to auto, and we're going to just drop it in. So now instead of me pushing that button, I'm just going to drop that. There you go. And it feeds that way. But when that one did pretty good, but you're going to find it jams more, especially on old bills. There's our jam again. Pull this up, take this one, actually hit it. Take this one and put it back on top and feed. So one quick discovery that I'd like to point out to you guys. At the very beginning, I pointed out that they had a little USB flash drive, and I thought that was nice that they give you a flash drive to be able to transport data. Actually, what this flash drive is it has a whole bunch of documentation preloaded on it, how to maintain the unit, what you need to do. I think it's a really nice little feature. I plugged it in afterwards and realized what all was actually on here. So here's one more reason that they are a great company, and they want to make sure you know what you're doing and how to operate the equipment that you get from them. So be sure you check the flash drive out when you get the unit. So that's how you actually use the system. It's not very hard once you get it calibrated and set right. Now, by the way, one other thing they do point out, if you're using like a lot of old money, dirty money, wet money, you may have to clean this periodically. And that's why they give you the little cleaning towel, and you're just going to pop the back open, clean off the rollers, clean everything up really good. You have a little brush if you need to use that so that you can brush everything off as well. So if you have some really dirty money that comes in, I probably wouldn't throw it through my counter. I'd count that by hand and keep it out of my machine. That will help you. Now also watch for bills that have tears through the center, that are bent over really bad and have a lot of creases because it's not going to read correctly. Frayed old money, money that is warped or bent. When it's warped, it does not lay correctly in the actual tray and it doesn't want to feed. That's also where it helps tremendously to go by manual instead of auto. So guys, if I was going to rate this on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd give it 5 stars because I think it's a very good system. And once you figure out how to use it, it's going to be very valuable to you. So do yourself a favor, pick yourself up one today, and we'll see you guys on the next review.